over my dead body. According to high-level palace insiders, those four brutal words have echoed through the corridors of Kensington Palace this week with the chilling finality of a royal decree. As the clock ticks down toward Prince Harry's 40th birthday, a milestone that should mark a new chapter of maturity has instead become the detonator for a financial civil war. For the Duke of Sussex, this date has long been circled in red. It is the day he expects to receive a massive financial windfall, a multi-million-dollar inheritance from his mother's trust that he believes will secure his family's future forever. Harry thinks the money is a certainty. He thinks the Spencer millions are an untouchable fortress. He is wrong. At the Royal Evidence Desk, we have unmasked a reality the palace has fought desperately to keep in the shadows. For years, the global public believed the war between the brothers was a matter of hurt feelings, spare labels, and televised apologies. We were all looking at the wrong map. This isn't about pride. It is about the purse. Prince William is reportedly livid, having moved beyond mere fraternal anger into a state of cold, calculated legal panic. He has allegedly launched a secret scorched earth strategy designed to freeze his brother's assets before they ever cross the Atlantic. The future king has reportedly petitioned the executors of Princess Diana's estate with a devastating legal and moral argument that Harry has not only left the firm but has actively betrayed the family's foundational principles, and therefore he has forfeited his birthright. William's argument is legally ruthless. He contends that the inheritance was never meant to be a war chest for a media empire aimed at dismantling the very institution Diana raised her sons to serve. Do not look away. The stakes have never been higher. Harry is no longer just fighting for his reputation. He is fighting for his liquidity. With a burn rate in Montecito that would bankrupt most billionaires, covering 24/7 private security, international legal fees, and a lifestyle that demands constant cash flow, Harry is staring at a financial abyss if his brother succeeds. In this investigation, we are going to take you inside a secret meeting at the Althorpe estate. We will expose the hidden moral clauses William is using as a legal scythe and reveal the terrifying reason why Harry is currently frantically calling his lawyers as the deadline approaches. The future king has declared war on his brother's bank account, and the final battle for the Spencer legacy begins right now. To understand the sheer ferocity of this financial siege, we must leave the tabloid gossip behind and enter the secretive, dust-filled world of the royal archives. While the public remains distracted by shouting matches and television interviews, Prince William has reportedly taken the fight to a quiet room at Sandringham, the Muniment Room. This is the Windsor family's black box, a vault where the private papers of the Windsor and Spencer families are kept under lock and key, hidden from prying eyes and parliamentary reach. It is here that William's legal team has reportedly unearthed the weapon intended to stop Harry in his tracks. This weapon isn't a public law or a modern act of government. It is a private, handwritten document known as the 1993 Letter of Wishes. According to legal experts familiar with the intricate structure of aristocratic estates, when Princess Diana drafted her will, she included this side letter to guide her executors. For 30 years, this document was viewed as a sentimental guide, a mother's gentle touch on a vast fortune. But today, William is holding it up as a legal shield. The letter reportedly outlines Diana's deepest hope, that her assets would be used not just to support her sons' lifestyles, but more crucially, to preserve the standing and the dignity of the family. For years, Prince Harry has operated under a comforting, perhaps arrogant, assumption. He knew the firm would close its checkbook when he walked away from royal duties, but he always believed the Spencer money, the inheritance from his mother's side, was untouchable. He believed his status as Diana's son trumped his status as a royal exile. He viewed that trust fund as a get-out-of-jail-free card, a sovereign wealth fund that would allow him to attack the monarchy while living like a monarch. William is now arguing that the very spirit of that bequest has been violated. His argument to the trustees is legally ruthless and emotionally devastating. He is claiming that the 1993 letter implies a moral obligation that Harry has flagrantly ignored. These funds were intended to give Diana's sons independence, yes, but not to fund a scorched earth campaign against the very institution that she raised them to serve and that she herself remained a part of until her final breath. William is reportedly pointing to a brutal paradox that he finds intolerable. Harry is using Diana's money to pay for the high-priced American PR teams the aggressive litigation lawyers, and the media platforms that are systematically attacking Diana's other son, the future king. In William's eyes, the inheritance didn't just buy a house in Montecito, it funded the ammunition for the attacks. It paid for the security that guards the secrets Harry sells. Critics might ask, is Prince William just being greedy? Is the future king trying to snatch millions from his younger brother because of a personal grudge? To answer that, we must look at the cold, hard financials. Prince William does not need the cash. As the Prince of Wales, he recently posted a private income from the Duchy of Cornwall of nearly $30 million in a single year. He is, for all intents and purposes, a billionaire. This move isn't about the money, it is about the principle of asset integrity. William believes that handing these assets over to Montecito, especially the residual estate, which may include rare Spencer jewelry and private family archives, is essentially handing them over to Netflix and Penguin Random House. He fears the merchandising of grief. He refuses to let his mother's sacred legacy become collateral in a Hollywood rebrand. Armed with the 1,993 letter, William has sent a chilling message to the men holding the keys to the vault. He is demanding a total freeze on the payout. And as we investigate further, we find that the man currently holding those keys is the most conflicted person in the British aristocracy. To see how William is tightening the noose, we have to look at the California risk, the terrifying legal scenario that has William's lawyers working through the night. While the pressure mounts in the rain-soaked English countryside, the true engine of Prince William's anxiety is running hot 5,000 miles away in the sun-drenched suburbs of Los Angeles. To a casual observer, the Prince of Wales' move to block his brother's inheritance might seem like a petty act of fraternal spite. But at the Royal Evidence Desk, we've uncovered that his motivation has shifted from emotional anger to cold, hard legal panic. William's legal team has reportedly placed a terrifying dossier on his desk titled The California Risk. They aren't just worried about Prince Harry spending his mother's money on PR campaigns or private jets. They are worried about Harry losing that money entirely in an American courtroom. To understand why William is so desperate to keep the vault locked, we must look at the legal trap Harry walked into the moment he signed the deeds to his Montecito estate. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle reside in California, a jurisdiction famous, or perhaps infamous, for its strict community property laws. In the secretive world of British aristocratic trusts, money is a bloodline asset, meant to stay within the family tree. But in the eyes of a California judge, that money can quickly become a bargaining chip. William's lawyers have reportedly warned him of a specific legal concept called commingling. This is the silent killer of inheritances. Here's how the trap works. Under California law, an inheritance is typically considered separate property. However, the moment that money is used to pay down a joint mortgage, deposited into a shared bank account, or used to renovate a marital home, it loses its separate status. It becomes commingled. It is transformed from a Spencer family asset into a marital asset. This leads us to the scenario that keeps the future king awake at night. While the Duke and Duchess of Sussex publicly project an image of unbreakable unity, palace courtiers and legal strategists are paid to be pragmatists. They are forced to plan for the apocalypse scenario, a future divorce in an American court. Imagine the horror in Kensington Palace if Princess Diana's residual estate, millions of dollars intended for her sons, were to be split 50-over-50 by a Los Angeles judge who has no allegiance to the British crown or the Spencer lineage. William is reportedly haunted by the possibility of his mother's wealth, or even pieces of her private jewelry collection, being awarded to Meghan Markle as part of a spousal support package or a property division settlement. To William, that isn't just a financial loss. It is a desecration of his mother's memory. He refuses to let the legacy of the Spencer family become a bargaining chip in a Hollywood divorce court. This is a fear that transcends royalty. The instinct to protect what our parents built, to ensure it stays with the people it was intended for, is a profound human drive. But for William, the stakes are institutional. He views himself as the ultimate custodian of the family's history. He believes that by allowing $10 million to flow into a California bank account, he is essentially subsidizing the potential liquidation of the Spencer heritage. Insiders claim that William's urgency stems from a belief that Harry is financially reckless. The Prince of Wales has reportedly seen the burn rate of Brand Sussex, and it has terrified him. He sees a couple who has lost their Spotify deal, whose Netflix contract is under intense scrutiny, and whose lifestyle requires an astronomical, never-ending stream of cash. William views the inheritance not as a gift for Harry to enjoy, but as a target for creditors and legal adversaries in the United States. To William, Harry isn't just a brother. He is a toxic asset under the influence of a foreign legal system. The future king's legal team is arguing that Harry has placed the Spencer millions on a gambling table in a land where the house always wins. They contend that if the money leaves British soil, it is effectively gone forever, stripped of the protections that have guarded aristocratic wealth for centuries. This is why William has reportedly pivoted his strategy. He is no longer just complaining about Harry's interviews. He is building a legal iron dome around the Spencer Trust. He is demanding that the trustees recognize that the California risk constitutes a change in circumstances so significant that the original terms of the trust must be suspended. But there is a massive obstacle in William's path. To successfully freeze the assets, he needs more than just a legal dossier. He needs the cooperation of the man who has spent the last 27 years acting as the self-appointed guardian of Diana's legacy. He needs his uncle, Charles Spencer. William is now forced to take his war to the ancestral seat of the Spencer family, Althorp. He is about to demand that Earl Spencer break a blood vow made at Westminster Abbey. And as we will expose in the next few minutes, the pressure William is applying to his uncle is nothing short of a political ultimatum. The battle for the vault is moving from the law firms of London to the private drawing rooms of the Spencer estate, and the price of loyalty is about to skyrocket. To truly understand the ferocity of this standoff, we must travel 70 miles north of London to the Althorp estate. This is the ancestral seat of the Spencer family, the final resting place of Princess Diana, and currently the silent battlefield of the Windsor Civil War. At the center of this storm stands one man, Charles Spencer, the 9th Earl Spencer. For decades, the Earl has been the self-appointed custodian of Diana's memory. He is the man who famously stood in the pulpit at Westminster Abbey in 1997 and issued a stinging rebuke to the royal family, vowing to the world that his blood family would protect William and Harry. He promised they would not be swallowed whole by the cold duty and stifling tradition of the monarchy. But now, nearly 30 years later, that blood vow has turned into a curse. Earl Spencer finds himself in the most unenviable position in the British aristocracy. He is the sole arbiter in a war between the future king and the exiled prince. And sources suggest that Prince William is no longer asking for his uncle's help. He is demanding his allegiance. Insiders at Althorp claim that William's private secretary has made quiet yet incredibly firm contact with the estate trustees. The message delivered to the Earl was not a sentimental plea from a nephew. It was a political warning from the Crown. Though the message remained unwritten, its subtext was clear. The Crown expects loyalty. William's argument to his uncle is brutal in its logic. He contends that if the Spencer family releases this new tranche of inheritance, reported to be around $10 million due on Harry's 40th birthday, they are, in effect, funding the opposition. William views Harry's media empire not just as a sibling's nuisance, but as a hostile entity attacking the very institution he is destined to lead. Therefore, any money flowing from the Spencer vaults to the Sussex's accounts in Montecito is viewed by Kensington Palace as financing the ammunition for the next attack. It is a subtle but terrifying ultimatum. Do you stand with the future king, or do you stand with the toxic asset in California? This puts Earl Spencer in an impossible bind. On one hand, he made a public, sacred promise to look after Harry, the son Diana, worried about the most. If he bows to William's pressure and locks the vault, he destroys his relationship with Harry forever. He risks becoming the ultimate villain in Harry's next memoir, a betrayer who sold out his sister's youngest child to appease the establishment. Harry would view this as the final proof that the institution is so powerful it can even turn his own mother's brother against him. But on the other hand, Earl Spencer is a pragmatist. He knows that William is the Prince of Wales. He wields the full weight of the monarchy and the Duchy of Cornwall. Defying the future king could lead to the social and political ostracization of the entire Spencer line. If the Earl sides with Harry, he is siding with a man who has burned every bridge back to London. So, what exactly is William asking his uncle to do? He isn't just asking him to say no out of spite. He is reportedly urging the trustees to activate a specific, rarely used legal lever known as a discretionary hold. At the Royal Evidence Desk, we've analyzed the structure of these aristocratic trusts. They are not simple bank accounts where you can withdraw cash at an ATM. They are managed by trustees who possess discretionary power. This means a trustee can technically pause or deny a payout if they believe the beneficiary is in a precarious position or under undue influence. Traditionally, this clause is used if a beneficiary is battling addiction, facing bankruptcy, or being extorted. William's legal team is allegedly building a dossier to prove that Harry's current crusade constitutes a threat to the long-term reputation and financial stability of the family legacy. They are giving the Earl the legal cover he needs to say, "Not now. We are keeping the vault locked for your own good until the California risk has subsided." The pressure at Althorpe is mounting to a breaking point. As the date for the trust review approaches, both brothers are waiting for the phone to ring. One wants a blockade established to protect the sanctity of the crown. The other wants a check to clear so he can maintain his life of exile. Earl Spencer knows that whatever decision he makes, he will be breaking a promise to someone Diana loved. But William isn't just relying on his uncle's loyalty or the discretionary hold. He has a plan B, a backup strategy so humiliating and so restrictive that it would effectively turn Prince Harry into a ward of the state. If the vault cannot be closed entirely, William is prepared to turn it into a cage. He is moving to declare his brother financially incompetent in a move that will change the nature of royal inheritance forever. As we move into the specifics of this Plan B, the true depth of William's tough love strategy becomes chillingly clear. If Earl Spencer cannot be persuaded to block the inheritance purely on moral grounds, Prince William has a backup plan, and according to legal experts consulted by the Royal Evidence Desk, Plan B is even more humiliating for Prince Harry than a total blockade. It is a strategy that doesn't just deny Harry the money, it treats him like a child who cannot be trusted with his own allowance. William's legal team is reportedly preparing to invoke a mechanism known as a protective trust variation. To understand the genius and the cruelty of this move, we have to look at the fine print of British trust law. Usually, when a beneficiary turns 40, the capital, the actual millions of dollars in the pot, is transferred directly to their personal bank account. It becomes theirs to spend, invest, or waste as they see fit. But William is arguing that the current circumstances are exceptional and high risk. He is petitioning for the assets to be placed into a frozen UK-based subtrust. What does this mean in plain English? It means the $10 million inheritance would technically belong to Harry, but he would be physically and legally barred from touching a single cent of the principal sum. He would be placed in a financial straitjacket. Under this proposed structure, Harry might be allowed to receive the interest generated by the millions, a modest annual sum, perhaps enough to cover the tuition fees for Archie and Lilibet's future education. But the golden parachute itself, the massive lump sum he needs to pay off his staggering mortgage and fund his high-octane lifestyle, would remain locked in a vault in London, overseen by trustees who report back to the Crown. This is a masterstroke of soft power. By framing the freeze as a protective measure, William is cleverly shielding himself from accusations of greed. He is reportedly telling the executors, "I am not stealing a penny, I am safeguarding it for the next generation." His argument is devastatingly simple. If the money is given to Harry now, it will be gone in 3 years, swallowed by security bills, failed business ventures, and PR agents. William is positioning himself as the responsible guardian, while casting Harry as a reckless spendthrift. Imagine the psychological blow to the Duke of Sussex. Harry fled the United Kingdom to escape the control of what he called the men in gray suits. He moved to America to achieve financial independence and break the cycle. But if this protective trust is activated, he will be a 40-year-old man who is legally treated like a teenager. Every time he wants to access his own mother's money for a major project or a personal need, he will have to submit receipts and justifications to trustees in London. Every dollar released would come with strings attached. The message from William is clear. You can leave the family, but you cannot take the family fortune with you to fund your rebellion. This Plan B also effectively neutralizes Harry's ability to fight back in the court of public opinion. If Harry complains that William is stealing his birthright, William can simply reply, "The money is exactly where it's supposed to be, safe in the bank, waiting for your children." It corners Harry completely. For a man whose burn rate in Montecito is estimated to be millions of dollars a year, a frozen trust is as good as an empty one. You cannot pay private bodyguards with interest. You cannot pay aggressive litigation lawyers with future promises. Harry needs the liquidity now. Sources say that when the details of this protective variation reached California, the mood in the Sussex household shifted from anger to genuine fear. Harry is beginning to realize that his brother is playing a long game, a game of attrition. William is willing to tie this money up in legal red tape for decades if necessary. He knows Harry doesn't have the time or the cash reserves to fight a protracted legal battle in the High Court of London against the Prince of Wales. The Spencer safety net that Harry has relied on his entire life is being pulled away strand by strand, and as the reality of this financial blockade sets in, the panic in Montecito is beginning to boil over. The American dream is about to meet a British legal reality. 5,000 miles away from the rain-soaked law firms of London, the mood in Montecito is no longer one of defiance, but of dawning panic. To understand why Prince William's potential blockade is causing such a meltdown in the Sussex household, we must look beyond the glossy magazine covers and into the cold reality of the ledger. At the Royal Evidence Desk, we've analyzed the financials, and the conclusion is stark. The burn rate of Brand Sussex is rapidly outpacing its income. For years, Prince Harry operated under a comforting, perhaps dangerous assumption. He believed that no matter how many bridges he burned with his father, King Charles, the Spencer money, his inheritance from his mother's side, was an untouchable reservoir. He viewed it as his old money safety net, a golden parachute that the British crown could never cut. But now, with the news that William is actively lobbying to freeze that trust, Harry is realizing that the parachute has been slashed just as he is hitting freefall. The financial landscape for Harry and Meghan has shifted dramatically in the last 12 months. The era of easy money in Hollywood is over. The $20 million Spotify deal collapsed in a wave of public humiliation, with a top industry executive branding them grifters. Their massive Netflix deal, once thought to be their ticket to permanent wealth, is now reportedly contingent on them producing high-impact content that has yet to materialize. The Sussex brand is facing a market correction, yet their expenses remain astronomical. We are talking about a $14 million mortgage on the Chateau of Riven Rock. We are talking about private air travel, a staff of PR agents, and endless legal fees for multiple lawsuits in the London High Court. But the killer cost, the one that reportedly keeps Harry awake at night, is security. Since losing his taxpayer-funded police protection, Harry has been forced to foot the bill for a private security detail that rivals that of a G7 head of state. Estimates put this bill alone at $2 million to $3 million a year. Without the steady drip of inheritance or a massive new contract, Harry is facing a genuine liquidity crisis. He is realizing that without that Spencer money, he is entirely dependent on his marketability in a town that is famously fickle. This financial pressure is fueling a deep, corrosive sense of paranoia. Sources close to the Duke suggest he feels encircled by a conspiracy designed to bankrupt him into submission. In Harry's mind, the pattern is clear. First, they took his military titles, then they took his HRH status, then they evicted him from Frogmore Cottage, and now they are coming for the one thing that connects him to his mother's bloodline. Harry reportedly views William's actions as the ultimate betrayal, a form of financial fratricide. He argues privately that William has everything: the Duchy of Cornwall, the palaces, the crown jewels, and a billion-dollar future. For William to begrudge him this inheritance seems, in Harry's eyes, to be the height of cruelty. But as the sun sets over Montecito, Harry is not just brooding. He is fighting back the only way he knows how. He is reportedly working the phones in a desperate outflanking maneuver. Sources suggest he is frantically calling his aunts Lady Sarah McCorquodale and Baroness Jane Fellows and his Spencer cousins. He is trying to bypass his uncle Earl Spencer and his brother William by appealing to the women of the Spencer clan. He is searching for a sympathetic ear, someone who will remember Diana's wish for her sons to be free. He is fighting to keep the vault open because he knows the terrifying truth. If that safety net is pulled away, the pressure to commercialize his royal life becomes existential. If the vault stays locked, the Sussexes will have no choice but to sell more secrets, write more books, and film more reality shows just to keep the lights on and the guards at the gate. William's blockade might actually force Harry into the very behavior William claims he wants to stop. As the fog settles over the Althorpe estate, and the lawyers in London prepare their final filings, one thing is painfully clear. The battle for the Spencer vault is no longer just a family feud. It is a tragedy of legacy. Harry is learning a brutal lesson about the price of freedom. You cannot burn the bridge and then expect the supply truck to keep driving across it. The Spencer vault is closing, and for the Duke of Sussex, the silence from London is the loudest sound of all. The battle for the Spencer Vault teaches us a brutal but necessary lesson about the nature of legacy. You cannot burn the bridge and then expect the supply truck to keep driving across it. For years, Prince Harry has preached the gospel of freedom. Freedom from the institution, freedom from the press, and freedom from his father's rules. But true freedom always comes with a price tag. You cannot spend years attacking the source of your privilege and act surprised when that privilege is eventually revoked. From our perspective at the Royal Evidence Desk, Prince William is practicing the ultimate form of tough love. He is drawing a line in the sand, declaring that his mother's memory is not a commodity to be traded for Hollywood clout. He is willing to be the villain in Harry's narrative today to ensure he remains the custodian of Diana's history forever. He realizes that if he doesn't stop the flow of assets now, the history of the Spencer family will end up as nothing more than a plot point in the next season of a reality show. Now, the gavel passes to the jury of public opinion. Is Prince William right to block the inheritance to protect the family honor, or is he being unnecessarily cruel by denying Harry his birthright? Cast your vote in the comments. Type number Team William if you think the vault should stay locked to protect the crown. Type number Team Harry if you think the inheritance belongs to him, regardless of his actions. This is the Royal Evidence Desk. The royal checkbook is closing, but the drama is just beginning. We will be here to track every legal filing and every secret meeting. See you in the next investigation.